Good morning, everyone. First of all, thank you all so much for joining us today. I know this is different than how we would normally talk to you about communications, but we're so glad that you took the time out to join us virtually today. So like Robin mentioned, the topic is strategic communication during COVID-19. And I just want to begin by saying that this is a small part of a larger conversation that we hope to continue having with you. Now more than ever, effective communication is so important. And so we were kind of tossed into a little bit of a whirlwind when COVID-19 really began to ramp up. And one thing that we noticed was that we really had to streamline our communication in order to continue serving our participants. And I'm sure that that is the case for all of you across the board. Figuring out what the new norm is and how do you continue to share information, relevant information with your audience. So today we're going to kind of get in the weeds a little bit on a program that we've been using to help with our external and internal communication, and that is called MailChimp. We're at a critical time in workforce development where job seekers are not only, interested in receiving information, but they're actually seeking it out. So this is the perfect time to begin to think about a strategy behind how you will communicate about the services that you provide to your audience. So our digital content specialist, Andrea, is prepared now to take you through how we create email campaigns using MailChimp and just to talk to you about all the steps included so that you can also begin to create that. When we talk about email campaigns, we're talking about a streamlined form of communication that goes out to a list of people who want that information, and you can continuously push out notifications, relevant information, and things like that. So what you see on the screen are the steps to actually getting started. We want this to be interactive. We don't want to just at you. We want you to jump in and ask questions. So if you do have questions throughout the training, please throw them in the chat box. We will pause and address them in real time. But we also want you to follow along. So if you haven't already, please take a moment, go to MailChimp.com, click sign up for free, and please, if you can, walk through the steps with us. I'm not sure if you sent a representative from your office that will actually be doing email campaigns, or if you are interested in starting email campaigns to help communicate. We do want you to follow along during this training, and please send any questions on this Zoom call. So we're just really excited that everyone is here, and I'm not going to talk your head off too much because I really want to get into the weeds of this. So now I'm going to turn it over to our digital content specialist, Andrea, to get us started.
But for now, if you go to MailChimp.com, and if you made an account, this is where you log in. If you haven't, you can sign up for free. We do have a free account here at WorkSource Georgia. We haven't had the need necessarily to upgrade yet. They offer, different plans that offer additional features, but for our purposes right now, we're perfectly content with the free account. But on your computer screen, if you are following along, you go to MailChimp.com and go ahead and log in. Again, this training is being recorded, so you can always go back and reference it if I'm going too fast, if I'm going too slow, if you'd like to just kind of watch it again at your own pace, by all means. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. And in the training files that I shared with you all, that hopefully you've downloaded by now, there's 5 files in there. And then this hypothetical situation we have coming up, we have an upcoming training event called How to Be Amazing, because who doesn't want to learn how to be amazing? That sounds like the ideal training for me. But this is the hypothetical situation we want to create an email campaign for. And Shamika brought up a lot of good points in her introduction just now. We are trying to navigate this new world of communicating, especially now in COVID-19. But more pressing in the past has been the fact that emails are actually 50% more likely to be open and viewed than a notification on social media. And that's not to say you shouldn't be using social media. You definitely should be. using social media. That's great for brand awareness, engaging with your audiences. But emails are really key. And if you can establish a email mailing list, that's really going to help elevate your local area. It's going to help you get the word out about upcoming training events. And services that your local area offers. So I highly recommend, if you had to focus on one thing, I would really recommend um, focusing on building that email list. Anywho, so in this hypothetical situation, again, it's the how to be amazing save the date. We want to create an email campaign to let folks know that we have this upcoming training on October 7th from 9 to 10 a.m. So that's just the hypothetical scenario that we're going to go with today. So once you're logged into MailChimp, we're going to go ahead and click the monkey on the top left corner here. And you're going to see a screen that looks like this. And this is your dashboard. And for you, if you're joining for the first time, it's going to look kind of empty just because you haven't had email campaigns sent out yet. And MailChimp is great, again, for being an all-in-one marketing platform to send messages and email campaigns to your local areas. And we didn't want to rely on a generic email that we would create in Outlook that kind of gets reformatted differently depending on who it's sent to, and we can't really control how it appears to the user. We also couldn't preview how it would appear to the user, and you can't really embed videos. You can't really do a lot of different features that we really wanted to utilize and make our emails more engaging. So MailChimp was the platform we chose in order to do that. But on this dashboard, we can see a lot of kind of like an overview of what our account is currently going through. It'll suggest different things for you to do of how to explore MailChimp and encourage you to, think outside the inbox and give you suggestions on, designing a postcard or creating a social media post or a retargeting ad, a bunch of different suggestions. And you don't necessarily have to do these, but if you are interested, I do encourage you to kind of explore MailChimp at your leisure, just to see what other features they have to offer. If you scroll down a little bit, you can see we have a total of 4. That's just the number of email addresses we've accumulated over time. And if you're in this, you probably have been exposed to the formatting of the email and how it kind of looks a little nicer than a generic email. If you scroll down a little bit on this dashboard, you can see how many emails you've sent over the course of a period of time. Over the past 7 days, we've sent out 499 emails. That's to each individual email address. So it's adding all those up. We can see that 63 people opened it and 16 people clicked it. And we can kind of get in the weeds a little bit about how each individual email campaign is working. But this page specifically is for, an overview of how all email campaigns are doing. Again, this is going to look a lot more empty if you're joining us for the first time on MailChimp. But over time, you'll be able to get a lot of insight on this page alone. So up here at the top, we have a menu bar. And you can see this says create, audience, campaigns, automations, website, content studio, and integrations. So I know that's a lot. We're actually only going to focus on the first 3 here, create, audience, and campaigns. I do encourage you to kind of explore, again, if you have time, other features that MailChimp has to offer. But for how we use it specifically here, we focus mainly on emails. So that's what we use MailChimp for. So under create, if you click create, you can see all the different types of marketing campaigns you can create. You can see email, customer journey, email template, landing page, social post, survey, contacts. Again, we're only going to focus on email so far. So in this example, we're going to create an email. Go ahead and click email. And again, it's the how to be amazing, save the date. Once you have that typed in, we're going to click begin. So once you create that email campaign, you'll come to a new screen and you'll see that there's 4 different fields that we need to complete. We need to figure out who we're going to send it to. We're going to figure out who we're going to send it from, the subject line, and the content. So this should be all of us have. So we just kind of need to fill in the blanks. And what's great about MailChimp is this is a draft right now, and you don't need to have all these components, ready to go right away. You can always come back and work on it later once you've, gathered those missing pieces. I know that's a lot. That's what we've done here. Like I'll draft an email and say we don't quite know who we're going to send it to yet, or whatever the case may be, and I can come back and add those emails later. So don't feel like you need to have all these components, ready to go just so you can send it out. You can always come back and work on it later. So we're going to add a from, and you can type your organization. For us, this would be WorkSource Georgia Academy. And we'll change this to WorkSource Academy at tcsg.edu. And when we're happy with that, we can hit save. We're going to add a subject line, and I always like to match my subject line here with what I've called my email campaign name. So this part that I have highlighted here, that's only for you to see. So you can kind of organize it or call it what I like, but that's only for you to see. The subject is actually what the recipient will see. But I like to make things less complicated and just have it matching so I don't get confused. And then we get into the fun part, which is actually designing the content for the email. So we're going to go ahead and hit design email. And then you can see that you can select a template. We'll start with a generic template for now, a really basic one. But you can see how you can really benefit from MailChimp's templates that they have ready for you to just kind of plug content into. But for today's training, we're just going to go with a super basic single column template so you can see the different features. Okay, so once you click that button, you'll see a different screen. On the left-hand side, you'll see a preview of what your email will look like. So this is exactly what your recipient will see when they receive your email. On the right-hand side, you'll see the different components or blocks that you can use to build your email. So any of these buttons, or any of these blocks rather, that you'd like to add to your email, you can just click it and drag over. And then once you drag it over, an editing window will appear in place of the block so that you can edit the content. So I just added a text block, and we do have text in the training materials. We're going to go ahead and grab that text in the How to Be Amazing event information. We'll open that up to grab or to copy this text. So with that text copy, we'll go back and paste it. So it looks a little right now, so we can always, make it look better. And a lot of these, editing features, bold, italic, underline, you're probably familiar with that if you've ever, created an email. Again, I'm sure you have. So you can make that bold, you can increase the font size, make it look a little better than just generic text. You can also change the colors of the text. Is everyone following along so far? Does anyone have any questions about any of the steps I've taken so far? I'd love to see thumbs up in the chat box if you are following along, or if you have any questions, be sure to let us know. And again, this training is being recorded in case you want to go back and watch it again. Great. Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Awesome. So that's like how to add text. And then at the bottom here, you can hit save and close. And what's great about MailChimp is that it also auto saves what you're working on. So you don't have to, worry if you don't hit save and close. It's going to automatically save your work every 20 seconds. So don't need to freak out if you don't hit that button. So this text is what came with the original email. So we don't want that. We're just going to hit delete. And it'd be nice to have an image in here. So let's grab an image block and drag it over to the top. And then we can upload an image on the right-hand side. And we can upload the How to Be Amazing Save the Date image that we already created for you all. So with that selected, you can hit open. And then we'll just drop right into the email. And you can resize the image as needed. I like to leave it, the width of the email. But actually, we get a warning here, and that's great too about MailChimp, that you don't have to worry about, oh, I don't want to do the wrong thing. It'll let you know if an image is too big. So it says this image is so big it might cause slow load times or get clipped in people's inboxes. Aim for 800 to 1200 pixels wide instead. Let's fix it. And so you can just hover over that little let's fix it, and then a photo editor will come up. And at the bottom left here, it said, what was it, 800 to 1200? So we'll just make it 800. I'll type 800 there in the width. And then I'll hit save. And so that error message goes away. It's happy. Everything's good. Great. So I'll hit save and close. And if you are joining MailChimp for the first time, you'll see that I have a logo here. And you can, add your logo. You can drop in an image, upload your image, or I'm sorry, your local area's logo. So you'll have it, personally branded to your local area. At the bottom, you also see that it comes preloaded with social media links. If you click that, you'll see that you can, you have Twitter, Facebook, your Twitter handle, or I'm sorry, your Twitter URL in there, and I memorized ours. So ours is twitter.com/WorkSourceGeorgia. And our website is, and then you can, add as many other services as you like. And this is just another way for folks who are reading your emails to, interact with your organization. They can email you. They can go on your Instagram. I think that's one of the options. Yep. They can go on your Instagram. And it's just, enhancing that connectivity across all platforms. Save and close. Great. So I think the email looks good so far. So at the top menu, there's a button that says preview. And if you click that, you can enter preview mode, which will show you what it would look like in a desktop version, which is, pretty similar to what we just were looking at. But what's interesting here is that you can also preview how it would look on mobile, which is very interesting. And then you can X out of that once you're done previewing. And then back in the preview menu on that screen, you can actually send a test email to someone on your team. So I know that we use this feature a lot. I just want to make sure, I have all the information I need, that, no one wants any edits or changes. And I can send to as many people on my team as I want. I can even, ask, specific things like, hi folks, please make sure you're okay with, this image, thanks. And then just let them see a preview before you send it out to all your audience. We're happy to do that. I don't want to bother Robin today with this. So we'll hit X. And then back under preview, another feature I like to use is the link checker rather. So if you click that, you can actually check your links. So on the right-hand side, if you hover over a link, you'll see a preview of it on the left-hand side with a red box. So that shows you where that link is located. And so if you hover down, you'll see, again, on the left-hand side that it's showing you where that link is. So you can quickly, at a glance, see what links you're using and if they're correct, instead of going back and clicking each one individually. This is a great way to just do that all at once. Hit X. One more note about this email, this little box at the bottom that we didn't add, that was just there in the template. You don't have to worry about this. This is just what MailChimp includes in their email. You'll notice that there's a lot of weird symbols here, and that's just code to tell MailChimp to input different fields so that it's up to date with, I think, GDR compliance. So the current year, it'll say like copyright 2020, this is your company name. If people want to unsubscribe, that's always a way for them to do that down at the bottom of the email here. The testing mode, okay, we have a question in the chat or the statement. The testing mode is limited to the number of tests that you can send your team. That's odd. I mean, we have a free account with MailChimp, and I've been able to send as many tests as I need to as many recipients. Or you're talking about in this, like, does it limit, you're saying, does it limit the number of emails or recipients in this particular box? Is that what you were saying? Let's see, I keep typing email addresses that I memorized. Let's see. I'm not getting an error message. On that, I can look into that. I'm not sure, but I've been able to, you know, send it to as many people as I want in this field, and I haven't had an error message come up yet. Great. So again, we're happy with this. You know, do we need to replace the information in the footer with address? If this is your first time using MailChimp, and actually I can show you how to do that. You only have to do that once, and that's in the settings of your account. So that information that you put into that will automatically be added here, and then you never have to do it again. So I can show you where you can do that. But we're happy with this email for now, so we'll hit continue. And I'll just address that question real quick. I believe in the drop-down menu of your account, you should see, I think it's profile. Let's try profile. Okay, yeah, so for us, I've been able to, you know, we've been using it for a while, and you can import any missing fields that you need to add. And I think settings, let's see, under settings and details, perhaps. Contact information, there it is. Okay, so you probably have to add your contact information if you haven't already. So you see we put our address in there, and then once you do it once, you never have to worry about doing it individually per email ever again. So that's really cool. So that's where you would add that. That's under your profile, and then settings, and then contact information. No problem. Great. So let's go back to the email we just created. So if I at the top menu, I'm sorry, if you click campaigns, you can click all campaigns, and then you can see that you have your draft here, the one that we were just working on right at the top. And once you send it, you'll get a new, you know, green icon next to it that says sent, and that's how you know you sent it. Let me look at my notes here. Awesome. So, all right. So we need to figure out who we're sending this to. So we were able to, you know, fix the from, the subject, the content, and we don't want to send it to everybody. And I'm going to show you how to import different email addresses. So up at the top, you'll see a button that says audience. We'll click that, and then we'll click audience dashboard. So this is kind of similar to the initial dashboard that I was showing you all of, as far as like an overview of your entire account. So this is just more insight your email addresses that you have imported into your account. So again, for you, if this is your first time, you're probably not going to see anything in here because you haven't had a chance to import anything. But over time, it could look something like this. From August 10th to September 9th, we've added 24 new contacts. We've organized them into different tags that we can manage here. And tags are essentially folders or labels that you can use to organize your contacts. And you'll see this throughout. Like predicting demographics, this is another like paid feature that they want, MailChimp wants you to upgrade for. And we just haven't had the need for this yet, but I can definitely see the use in that. And also engagement, how folks are interacting with your email marketing. But for right now, we're just going to add or import contacts. And for you all, if you need an email list in the training files, we have an email list that you can use if you're doing this for the first time. But for me, I'm just going to use Tyler's email address. Is that open? Come on, there it is. Okay. So once you hit import contacts, a new window will appear and it says, how would you like to import your contacts? You can upload a CSV file or a text file, or you can copy and paste. And no option is better than the other. But for this example, I'll use copy and paste. And then we'll click continue to upload. For you all, you can highlight those email addresses in the training file spreadsheet and just copy that. And then bring it over and paste it right there in the first column. I'm not going to do that because they are already in my contacts. So I'm just going to use my communication team's emails. Oops, stay on the page. We have another question. If I import my contacts, will MailChimp use the information in any way for their marketing purposes? No, they won't. They are not. Your subscribers will never receive an email from MailChimp like asking them to do, make your own account on MailChimp or do some other thing that they don't like. MailChimp's using the email addresses just to record the information for you. It's not necessarily for marketing purposes for MailChimp on behalf of MailChimp, if that makes sense. Cool. So once you've pasted those emails in there, you can continue to organize. There's a button, let's hit that. And for you, you're gonna say subscribe because you're assuming that the emails you have on file, those are people that actually want to receive information from your organization, right? We're not trying to automatically add people that don't want anything to do with us, right? We want people to subscribe to our mailing list, so we'll just subscribe them. And what's great too is that, say you've already imported an email list before this is the second time you've done this, you can always update existing contacts, which is great if you were trying to organize them in different tags, which I'll explain in a little bit. But don't feel like, oh, I've already uploaded, this list and it's going to mess up some other lists. Like, don't worry, it'll automatically organize that for you in MailChimp. So for me, I know that Tyler and Shamika, the two email addresses that I used, are in my contacts, so I am going to update them. For you, they're not, if that makes sense. So we'll hit continue to tag. So if this is your first time, you can tag them how to be amazing email list. And I think actually that is the list of directors. I think it is. But for now, just tag them how to be amazing email list. or how to be amazing email recipients. Let's put it that. How to be amazing email recipients. And that's just like flagging that email address with that tag so it knows, it puts them in a little essentially. And you can add more tags if you like, but for now we're just going to do that. So we'll hit continue to match. So I only had 2 email addresses here. You'll have like a longer list. I think the list is of 39 people. So we're happy with that. Finalize import. So for me, my contacts will be updated with a new tag, which is how to be amazing email recipients. And so we are using the free plan. We can import up to 2,000 email addresses, which for us has been more than enough. But if you ever need to upgrade to more email addresses, you can always do that later on. So we'll hit complete import. Great. So we'll hit exit. So now that we have our newly added audience, we're going to go back to the campaign. Or at the top, hit campaigns and then all campaigns. And then find our how to be amazing save the date. And we'll edit that. We'll click edit recipients. And then here under segment or tag, you're going to find that new tag that you just created, which is the how to be amazing email recipients. There we go. So with that selected, we'll just hit save. So I have 2 recipients only, but you should have, I think, 38 or 39 recipients here if you did the list that we included. So you see that all these are green check marks, everything's good to go. Say I want to preview the email one last time just to make sure. I can hover over the image here and click preview. And it still looks good, nothing's changed. I'm happy with how it looks. So we can hit X at the top. And then when you're really ready to send it, up at the top you'll see a button that says send, and it's not going to send it immediately. You'll get another warning window that says you're about to send a campaign to your subscribers. Are you sure? So hit send now. I know a lot of us get scared because it's like, I don't want to accidentally send something to someone, or I wasn't ready, or I don't want to accidentally delete something. Again, this is a great software because it kind of asks you twice just to make sure. So I'll just send it to them, because why not? Hit send now, and it's out there. Yeah, don't hit send on your end. They're probably watching this training or will know about this training at some point. But then you'll get a confirmation message that says, and it's out there. And a nice little message to congratulate you on your success. So that's great. But now, say fast forward a week from now, we want to see how that email campaign did. We want to see if they actually opened it. So we'll go to campaigns and we'll go back to all campaigns. So we can see that it says sent. And right now they haven't opened it yet. They're probably watching this training right now. But for another example, we'll show you the email you probably received last night at 4:30, or last evening at 4:30. We can see that this was we sent the strategic communications during COVID-19, see you tomorrow email. So we see that 130 people opened it, 47 people clicked it, 30, that's 31% open, 11% clicked. And then if we want to go more or get more information, we can click the view report button next to that. So again, on this screen, it's kind of similar to the other dashboards. You can just gain more information about how this individual email campaign did. So for us, this campaign's performance, it is kind of early. I mean, we did send it out only yesterday, so we haven't had quite as long a time as we normally would have regarding similar emails. But we see that compared to our peers' performance, which is our other people people using MailChimp that are also in the government, right? Those are our peers. Compared to how they're doing, this is how our particular email did. And that's not a good example because ours is typically higher, by the way. But this, you can see how well it performs compared to other performers or other people using MailChimp. You can see how often, or the open rate, the click rate, how many people unsubscribed. We have 0 unsubscribed, which is great. If you scroll down a little bit more, you can gain even more information. You can see who or when it was last opened, when it was last clicked, how many people or how many total opens. So that means, how many people opened it total, even if it's repeated opens, right? Like sometimes you would need to read an email multiple times for whatever reason. And you could see the performance over a 24-hour period, which all these insights are not necessarily something you would get if you send an email via Outlook. You could see which links have been clicked the most. So when we asked folks to register, that was like the main call to action button. So that was clicked 119 times. We can see that, or we see who opened it the most. Oh, that's a good win. You opened it quite a bit. But anyway, you can see how often or who opens it the most, which is great because you can see, okay, is this recipient, whoever it may be, if it's a client or whatever, you can see if they're actually engaging with your content, which is what we really look for here. And you can also see, I don't know why it says Canada, but application by opens. So that's really interesting too. And I'm sure if you were to upgrade, I think you would get more insight as far as like, just the state of Georgia goes, and get more insight in that way. And then we have a question here. If someone reads it within their email program, does it show as an open? Yes. So I've only been sending emails to .edu.gov. So it doesn't really matter what email client you're using, whether that's Gmail or Yahoo or Outlook, like they would all register to MailChimp as an open. So that's an overview of how this particular campaign is doing. But under activity, if you wanted to see, okay, well, who actually didn't open it, right? We can click that and see who didn't open it. And then you can export that, use that information as you need, and go from there. You can also, I think, let's go back to campaigns, all campaigns. Just hit re-report of the see you tomorrow email again. All right, I was trying to see if there's a question there. Let's see. There is a way, I just can't find it. Anyway, there's a way to send, and as a follow-up to this training, I'll figure out how to do this and share it with you all. But there's a way to send out the same email again, but only to the people that didn't open it. So you can kind of isolate, different segments of the recipients to, retarget them again, if you will. So I'll make a note of that to have that sent to you guys. But that's essentially how you would view the performance of an email campaign. You can also view the email again. You can download it. You can print this. You can share it with someone else in case they'd like to see the performance of that email campaign, excuse me. And you can even password protect it in case you'd like to protect that information. So let's go back to campaigns and all campaigns. So we're happy, or I'm sorry, we already sent this how to save the date email. So in our scenario, we want people to register. So how would we do that? So we probably need to send another email. So in this situation, instead of recreating that entire email again, we could do is click the drop down menu next to that how to save a date, and there's a button that says replicate. This is my favorite button. So once we've replicated that it's an entirely new copy. We're not editing the original one, obviously. So we can get that name now to call it something else. So this will be the Register Now campaign. So we can hit save. And again, I like to have the subject match, and I like to do that early instead of later because sometimes I can forget. So let's edit that subject line real quick. Go ahead and hit save. So the good news is because we've done the recipients already, you don't necessarily have to do that again. If those are the same folks that you want to send the registration now email to, then you could just leave it alone. We've done the from, we don't need to edit that again, but now we need to edit the content of the email. Let's hit edit design again. So this image, we have another image we'd like to replace this one with. So we'll just click that image and then click replace. And then we will upload the Register Now image in our training files. Hit open. Great, so we have that same warning because again, this is another image, so we need to make that same change. So let's fix that. And at the bottom left, we can change that to 800, which is the size they want. Click out of it and then hit save. Question, will it allow you to save the event to the Outlook calendar? So this is actually something that we've been working on here to try to utilize MailChimp, but also have folks be able to save whatever event we have posted to their calendar. Right now, there's not really a way to do that. So we're relying on people to save this event to their calendar themselves, which it adds an extra step. I wish there was another way. And that's why we've you probably noticed for this particular training, we had you register via Zoom, and then you were given and then you were able to hop on the Zoom call with that link right away. So that kind of was a way to bypass having you to sit there and to create your own Outlook calendar event. So we are trying to make as few steps as possible. There's not really a workaround as it pertains to MailChimp right now. That's something that you would have to create on your own. So if you were to receive this email, in other words, you'd have to create your own event just to have record of it. But if we do find a way to kind of bypass that so you don't have to do that, we'll let you all know. So we were able to, swap out this picture and change the text. and then we'll hit save and close. But now we want to add a button just so people can have a way to register. So over here, we'll grab the button and then drag it to be at the bottom. And then we'll change that button text to be register now. And then that is not on brand, that the blue is not our branding colors. So we'll change that color. And if you have any questions about the colors we use, we do have a media library that we've been updating quite a bit, and it also includes our branding colors and what codes to use. So our orange is 458220. And if you have any questions about our branding colors or how to use your logo or when you should use your logo, you can reach out to Tyler, who is our branding and graphic design specialist. And he's great at getting back quickly. And his email address is tyjohnson@tcsg.edu. So we're happy with the button, how the button looks. But now we need to provide a link so that once people click the button, it'll actually go somewhere. So on the right-hand side, we'll click content, and we'll see a field here that says web URL, and that's where we'll put our link to our form. And we've already created a form for this training. So in the training files, in the Word doc called, step-by-step instructions, plus Google form link, we'll open that up. And then we have a link right here at the top that you can open. And this is our registration for How to Be Amazing Training, which is just a Google form. These are free to create with a Google account. You can also do a Microsoft form or a Cognito form as well, which are all free versions, or all free online softwares to create forms to get information quickly. But that's, I guess, for another training. But we'll just take this URL up at the top, copy that, and bring it back to our MailChimp, and then we'll paste it right in there. So we'll hit save and close. So once the email looks good, you've by now probably sent it to your team to preview that email, and it looks good. We'll hit continue. Okay, we have a question. We use Canva and MailChimp integration. Will there be training on Canva? Yes, there will be a training on Canva. And Tyler will be leading that because he's our branding and graphic design specialist. But Canva is a free online software you can use to quickly create social media graphics created in Canva. So it's a great way to quickly churn out visual content that you need for emails, for social media, or whatever you might need. And it's free, and there will be a training on it in the future. Yes, I'm very excited for the Canva training too. Canva is a great software. So this is our How to Be Amazing Register Now email campaign. And does anyone have any questions so far regarding, editing the campaign or anything like that? Okay. Great. So we're happy with this email. We're going to go ahead and send it. You don't have to send it on your end. I'm just going to send it on my end. Great. I should mention now that under campaigns, you can see this drop-down button that says email templates. So if you click that, you don't have any saved templates, and neither do I, but you can create a template and kind of refer back to that each and every time. And that's one way to do it. and that's another way to do it besides the way that I showed you as far as replicating it. But it's great because once you do something, you don't have to do it again and again and again, right? Like you can do it once, swap out the text or the name of the event and the image, but for the most part, the structure of the email will stay consistent, which is really great for you all who want to save time. We all do. So that's another feature that I love about MailChimp. I can go back to templates. Oh, that was the other thing I was going to mention. So in our communications resource media library, we actually have a MailChimp template that you can download and use in your MailChimp account. So if you like how our templates look and you want to copy that to your account, we have those available in our library, and you can gain access to those in there. And we also have instructions on how to import that in your MailChimp account. So does anyone have, I think I kind of covered all my talking points. If anyone had any questions about anything else regarding MailChimp that I could answer, I'm more than happy to do that now. I'm not seeing anything in the chat, but you can always email me. My name's Andrea. I'm a digital content specialist, and my email address is ayoung@tcsg.edu. And I'll put that in there so you guys can see it as well. Andrea, do you have the new SharePoint folder for TCSG design? We, I think, if you're referring to the library, which is technically like a PDF document, yes, we have that. And I should find I'll get that to you, and we'll in the follow-up email of this, we'll share that library again so that you have access to our designs that we've made. Tyler has made a lot of graphics that you can repurpose for your social media accounts. We've made commercials, animations, GIFs. That's another thing I didn't really touch on. You can actually put GIFs in your emails, which is another way to kind of create a captivating email. So I'll just create something real quick here. How to be amazing too, just to show you all. Design email. So this should all look kind of familiar a little bit. But just as you would put a new image in your email, you can click an image, drag that in, drop it, upload an image, and then you can upload a GIF. Or on the left-hand side, we can see Giphy, which is what we use as our GIF management software. But these are obviously GIFs that we have not made. We did not make these. But just if you want to add something that is a little more lively in your emails, by all means. But let's find a GIF that we actually have worked on. Let me see. Oh, let's try that. And it looks odd because it is a GIF. It is a moving image. It's going to be a little wonky. So we'll insert that. So that's a GIF that Tyler made actually. And it moves just like that in your email, which is really interesting to look at instead of, text, right? We have an email, or we have a question. We have issues with our MailChimp emails going into people's junk folders. Any way to prevent this? So we've been noticing that as well at WorkSource Georgia. And we've kind of, I'll find the email that we've sent out. We've actually had to put a text bubble at the top of each of our emails, to let people know that they need to add us as a contact in order to bypass that. Because what happens with junk folders is there's really no way for the sender to control that. It's always on the recipient's end. That's usually the issue, because they might have certain settings in their Gmail or Outlook account that kind of, you know, tries to control the spam, if you will. And so if they're not subscribed, or if they're not, if they're receiving an email for the first time from this MailChimp account, their email client will automatically mark it as junk or spam, and that's just something that the recipient will have to rectify, essentially. And I've done research on that because we've had that experience as well, where we've had people say, well, I'm not receiving your emails, and it is in the spam folder, it is in their junk folder, and it's something that they have to kind of be looking for the first time, and mark us as a safe client, or mark us as a contact, if you will. I think we have one of those. I'll show you what the language we use for that. I want to say it's this one. Let's see. Right, okay. So here at the top, we put a little message to address this. You may be missing something. If images in this or other emails are not displaying properly, try these tips below via a desktop device. So they have to mark us as a safe sender. And if they're using Outlook, they might have to clear their cache. So that's just something that the recipient will have to manage. That's a good question. Okay, I was told that if you send to a Gmail, Yahoo, or non-business account, it goes to spam. As Andrea stated, they have to add you as a safe sender. Yeah, exactly. And if there's ever any updates regarding that, I will be the first to put that on our library as a note, to share the word. But yeah, that's unfortunately the only way to fix that, is to have the recipient mark the sender as a safe sender. I'll just make sure I'm getting all the questions, or I'm addressing all the questions. I got all of them. If anyone has any questions. Oh, hello?
Are we allowed to speak? This is Donnie Cantley, WorkSource Cab.
Hi, Donnie. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just we heavily use like Constant Contact here at WorkSource Cab, and I see the platforms are very similar. But I really do appreciate the presentation. I wanted to just remind the group or share that I've made it a habit of also including our EEO information when we send out our emails, because I believe that this would, fall up under like outreach whenever we're sending emails. So I just wanted to share that with the group. Similarly, where you have like, I usually just create like a little text box underneath, where the icons would be for like our Facebook or Instagram. Just wanted to just throw that out there. I'm pretty sure you guys are probably going to mention that at some point as well. But just a little something I wanted to share or mention.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And what's great too, and I'm sure you've seen this in Constant Contact, if you're using that platform as well, like once you put that information at the footer or wherever, it's something you only have to do once. It's not something that you have to constantly remember to add. It's there in the footer. And it's like once you replicate emails over time, it's just something that you'll bring forward with you each and every time you create an email, for sure. Right. Well, if anyone again has any questions that they'd like to ask, you can always email me at ayoung@tcsg.edu. And this training is recorded, so we'll have that up and out to you shortly if you'd like to, revisit this. But I appreciate everyone listening to me, and I'd like to turn it over turn it back over to Shamika for some final comments.
All right, thank you so much, Andrea, for that detailed walkthrough of MailChimp. Just a couple of things that I wanted to remind you guys of. So again, the overarching topic is strategic communication during COVID-19. And as I mentioned, this I think it came out earlier in the presentation that we will be hosting additional sessions in the near future. So be sure to keep a lookout for your emails for that. Like we're doing a walkthrough of Canva and other programs. We're also talking about scheduling posts on social media, because social media management is about more than just, typing text or dropping pictures, but actually a strategy behind when your followers are online, when the information will reach the most people, what type of information to post, like sure when it's appropriate to put it on Twitter versus Facebook, Instagram, etc. So we'll really be diving into some of those specifics that may help you more effectively talk to your participants and talk to your audience during this time. But we just really appreciate your attention. We appreciate those who were able to follow through with us during this walkthrough. And again, if you're not already, please subscribe to our Work Georgia newsletter. And I think when you receive the quarterly newsletter, it'll be a little bit more understanding. We do use MailChimp to send out those newsletters and also the other notifications that you may have been receiving from us. But if you guys don't have any more questions for the comms team, I'm going to turn it over now to Robin to close us out.
Thank you, Shamika. Just as a reminder, as Andrea mentioned, we are recording this session and you will receive a link shortly. We just want to thank you again for participating in today's webinar and hope that you have a wonderful day.